Welcome to The Real News. I'm Marc Steiner. Great to have you with us. So imagine you heard someone say or write about Jews as people who control the media, being shady business people, greedy, who exploited immigrant labor, and hurtle around the red light district looking for, quote unquote, a bit of black, who also let me quote from this, some kind of fiddling of the figures in an election by oligarchs of Jewish origin. Sounds a little anti-Semitic, or maybe a lot anti-Semitic. And imagine hearing that same person talk about mixed-race people as half-caste, coffee-colored, without, quote, too many Negroid features, or as bush people on the hunt. Sound a little racist to you? I think so. Or Arabs as Islamic nutcases with slanty eyes and hooked noses that you could tell from a distance because of their one brow. Sound a little Islamophobic? Just a little, maybe? Well, guess who said that? In his 2004 novel, 72 Virgins, the same man who said Obama was half Kenyan, so he had an ancestral dislike of Britain and the British people. It was this man.
Look, all I will say about that, I do think it is a very serious business when the chief rabbi speaks as he does. I've never known anything like it. It is a failure of leadership on the part of the Labour leader that he has not been able to stamp out this virus in the Labour Party. But I'm afraid it is cognate with a general failure of leadership that we're seeing at the moment.
So, we know who that is, Mr. Boris Johnson. And Jeremy Corbyn is the anti-Semite? How did Labour and Britain not scream from the rooftops that a blatant anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, racist philanderer about to move into, or perhaps he has already moved into, 10 Downing Street? How did that happen? We're joined once again by Moshe Machover, who is founder of Motz's Pen, the Israeli socialist organization. In the early 60s, continues his political work and professor of philosophy at the University of London. Welcome back, Moshe. Good to have you with us.
Very nice to be with you.
So how did this get overlooked? I mean, the news was nothing but about Johnson being, about Corbyn being an anti-Semite. When Johnson says blatant racism and anti-Semitic words are known by all. So what happened?
Well, that only goes to show the slant of the mainstream media, including the BBC and the allegedly progressive Guardian. They are interested not in hunting down real anti-Semitism, but in the fake anti-Semitism, which is basically hostility to the policies of Israel and to the Israeli Zionist regime.
But what does it also say just about where Britain is? I mean, this is, I was thinking about this. Maybe this is no connection. Maybe you'll make a connection for us. But when I watched the football match, soccer match the other day, and these kind of the crowd just taunting black players and this kind of vile racist stuff streaming out of this, and then you have the same kind of racist, though I would say intellectually more subtle, racism of Boris Johnson come out. There is a connection here. So make that, right?
Yes, there is a connection. And you see, Boris Johnson is not a man of any conviction, including possibly racist ones. He merely uses it as a crowd pleaser. He is using these anti-Semitic, racist tropes that you quoted, and there are more. I mean, you haven't covered the whole
right
shit of the book. 72 Virgins. I think he's doing it simply as a way of appealing to a certain crowd, and it's by no means the case that the racist outbursts that you quoted in the football game expresses the prevailing feeling in the British public, but there's a certain section of it that is racist. After all, Britain was an empire based on racism. I mean, the racism was used in order to justify and control the empire. British wealth, the Industrial Revolution, was based on slavery. The slaves were employed in the southern United States and in the Caribbean, but that fed the cotton industry in Manchester. The slaves were picking the cotton in the southern United States and in the Caribbean, and this fed the machines in Manchester, and this is how Britain industrialized and became an empire. So racism is endemic in certain sections, and it is traditionally certain section of the British public. It's by no means, universal, but there's always manifestations of it. But the answer to your original question, why it was ignored, is because the mainstream media is not really interested in Boris not good enough racism, but in the alleged and imaginary anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. Of course, this is helped by the fact that this witch hunt against so-called anti-Semitism in the Labour Party is supported by scabs within the Labour Party.
So, but you have this, I mean, this is just to kind of sense of this for our viewers. I mean, this book, 72 Versions, was written by Boris Johnson in 2004, published in 2004. He was a government official. He was a minister in the government.
Yes.
And he wrote this blatantly anti-Semitic, racist novel that had a Serbian fascist who was hunting down Muslims as one of the main characters. I mean, it just, I just can't fathom how someone could publish that and then still end up becoming the prime minister.
Well, then you have it. You see, that shows you the kind of regime we have here, and you have something not very different in the United States. How can somebody like Donald
Right.
become president of the United States? Mind you, I mean, in both cases, they achieved power by a minority of the votes. I mean, people have forgotten that Donald Trump did not achieve a majority of the popular vote when he became president. He was short by about 3 million votes. But because of the sick electoral system that you have, and because of the sick electoral system that Britain has, you can get to be prime minister here by securing, less than a majority of the votes. That is how it happens, and it shows you also the nature of the media. By the way, at the time when he was writing this novel, he was also, I think, editor of the journal, a weekly called The Spectator.
Correct.
And he was the editor of that magazine, and he published a series of articles by a well-known racist writer. I mean, that's not himself, but he was giving space to a notorious racist writer who published, in the Spectator. So I mean, it's a little bit vague. I mean, if you're interested in asking what his own views are, I think the answer is he hasn't got any fixed views. He's a narcissist, basically. I mean, much the same as you have as president of the United States, who is a narcissist. But he's a better educated narcissist and possibly a more intelligent one. He uses racism as a crowd pleaser to appeal to a certain type of certain section of the public.
Well, and I guess we'll see how this unfolds. You have 5 years of him, and we'll see what happens between, as you called him, the Donald and Boris good enough. And see
we'll see if he lasts 5 years. It's not at all clear. You know, things happen. He may have a solid majority now and a united party, but the future is not strictly foreseeable.
Things can unravel. Well,
yeah.
They can unravel, and they do unravel often.
Let's hope.
So, well, let's hope. So, Moshe Machover, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a lovely holiday and Happy New Year.
It's a pleasure, and the same to you.
We've been talking with Moshe Machover, and this is Marc Steiner here for the Real News Network. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful new year and take care.